Resentment is like a poison in a relationship. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that most of us experience but rarely talk about, and that's resentment. My name is Hannah Deindorfer, also known as the Libido Fairy, and I have supported over 1,200 women in learning how to crave sex and have more joy and fulfillment in their relationships. Resentment is one of the leading causes of a lack of intimacy, connection, and desire in relationships for women, and 75% of sexless marriages end in divorce. The more resentment that you build up over time, the harder and harder it gets to remove until there is no more connection, intimacy, love, or trust in the relationship left. And so many women are making mistakes when it comes to resentment that they don't even realize until it's too late. Because the real causes of resentment are not what someone does to you, but what we do to ourselves in these three main ways. Number one, not setting appropriate boundaries or enforcing those boundaries. Number two, not allowing ourselves to do things that we wish that we could do. And number three, not asking for what we need. The good news is that you have the power to take back control of resentment and stop the spread of poison from ruining your relationship before it's too late. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. Let me tell you a story about my client, Sarah. So Sarah and Alex had a vibrant, loving relationship until resentment started to creep in. Sarah would get upset with Alex that he would never help out around the house, and that resentment would build up into a lack of intimacy and disconnection in their relationship in really subtle ways. At the end of the day, she felt like he did not appreciate all of the work that she was doing for their home and their family. Sarah also never expressed her boundaries or expressed what she needed clearly to Alex. She would silently do all the chores, hoping that Alex would notice or pick up the slack. And this led Sarah to feeling increasingly resentful and not interested in intimacy. So when Alex would come to her at the end of a long day, she'd be exhausted from doing all the stuff around the house. He would try to initiate by grabbing her boobs or grabbing her butt, and it would cause her to feel intense amounts of frustration and push him away, causing him to feel rejected. And then they got into this cycle where there was a stalemate sexually between them. Let's talk about the mistakes that Sarah made and some solutions that I proposed to her that really helped her reconnect with her partner. But before we do, if you're enjoying this video, click the like button below and subscribe for more. Like I mentioned before, the first mistake that Sarah was making was not asking for what she needed. This is one of the main causes of resentment in relationship, and the fix is really simple, but it's not always easy. I told her to keep this in mind. If your partner isn't doing the thing that you're asking, a lot of times it's because the way that you're communicating it with them is not effective. I want you to think about when you're giving instructions to your partner that they just don't have a skill. They want to do the thing that you want, but they just don't know how. For example, they might not know what "I need emotional intimacy" or "I need you to listen to me" actually needs. So you might need to say to them, "I want you to look me in the eyes and make eye contact with me when I'm talking to you. I want you to nod along and participate in the discussion. I want your whole body facing me, and I don't want you on your phone." What good listening looks like is just like that. When you give really clear instructions, it gives someone the power to be able to follow those instructions and then give you what you need. When Sarah learned this skill and learned how to ask Alex directly for what he needed, it was so easy for him to help her around the house. The next mistake that Sarah was making was not enforcing her boundaries. So the thing that I told her was a boundary is not really a boundary unless there's a consequence involved. A lot of times we set boundaries, but if someone crosses them, there just is no consequence. So in that case, if someone crosses our boundary and nothing happens, they learn that that's okay, that they can cross our boundaries. So we're really just making a request, not setting a boundary. So when Sarah learned that, she had an open conversation with Alex. She told him that if the chores were not shared going forward, she would just stop doing them altogether. This created a boundary that was enforceable that made Alex understand how important it was for her to have support. The next mistake that Sarah was making, and this is a really sneaky one that I think is so common and underrated, is that she was not allowing herself to do something that Alex could do. So she would get really frustrated and irritated every time she was picking up around the house and she saw Alex just laying there on the couch and watching TV. In her head, she would think things like, "He's so lazy, he doesn't care, what is he doing?" But in reality, what was happening was Sarah never took a day off. She wanted to relax and she wanted to rest, but she never gave herself the opportunity to do that. I told her, Alex isn't doing anything to you. He's just doing something that you wish that you could do that you're not allowing yourself to do. So if this is you, ask yourself, what is it that my partner's doing that irritates me so much? And ask myself, is there something about that I wish that I could do? And then give yourself permission. Sarah implemented lazy days in her relationship where she got a full day to just relax, do whatever she wanted, and Alex took care of all of the chores around the house, and their relationship has never been happier. If you're struggling with low libido and you think that there might be some other factors at play, check out my other video, Why You Don't Want Sex Anymore, where I break down the 4 causes of low libido for women. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.